I went to college with a guy named Daniel. Quiet guy, drove a beat-up Civic, wore the same three hoodies on rotation, never picked up the tab at dinner, never complained about it either. We all kind of assumed he was broke, the way you assume things about people without ever actually thinking about it. He wasn't broke. By 34, Daniel owned two rental properties, had a brokerage account with more in it than most people make in 5 years, and zero debt. Nobody knew, not his roommates, not his girlfriend at the time, nobody. I only found out because he mentioned it once, casually, like he was telling me about a dentist appointment. And here's the question that's been sitting with me ever since. How many Daniels are walking around your life right now and you have no idea? Because stealth wealth, quiet wealth, whatever you want to call it, it has a very specific set of behaviors. And once you know what to look for, you'll start seeing it everywhere. I'm going to give you all 10 today. But sign number 8 is the one that'll genuinely make you rethink how you're spending your money right now. Hold on to that. The first sign is something economists actually have a name for. It's called consumption smoothing. And the quietly wealthy do the opposite of it. Everyone else, when income goes up, lifestyle goes up. Almost automatically, almost immediately. Like there's a direct wire between the bank account and the spending behavior. Sign 1. Their lifestyle doesn't move when their income does. I know a guy named Rohan. Mid-30s, works in logistics management, nothing glamorous. Got a significant promotion 4 years ago. His colleagues went out to celebrate, he went home. His life from the outside looked exactly the same the following month. Same apartment, same gym, same Saturday routine. What changed was invisible. The entire raise went straight into his investment account. Not half, not most of it. All of it. That kind of discipline isn't natural. It's a decision made once, automated, and then protected. And it is the single biggest separator between people who look wealthy and people who actually are. They have a number in their head that has nothing to do with their salary. Quietly, wealthy men have a specific number, a real one. The exact amount in a savings or investment account where they know, without drama, without anxiety, that they are okay. And they build toward that number methodically, the way an engineer builds toward a specification. Not a dream, a target. There is a massive psychological difference between those two things, and the men who get there know exactly what it is. They are allergic to monthly payments. The quietly wealthy guy pays cash, or he waits. Period. He might drive an older car while his neighbor leases a new one every 3 years. He doesn't care. He's doing the math his neighbor isn't doing. That the neighbor has committed $600 a month every month indefinitely to always having a nice car. He's committed that same $600 a month to an index fund. 20 years from now, those two men will not be in the same place. Drop a comment. Does this one hit? Because I think the monthly payment trap catches more people than almost anything else. Their most important financial conversations happen with one person, and it's not their friends. Quietly, wealthy men have essentially opted out of that system. Their financial decisions aren't made at dinner. They're made alone or with a single trusted advisor based on their own numbers and their own timeline. The outside world's spending behavior is just noise to them. And tuning out that noise, genuinely, not performatively, is one of the hardest and most lucrative things a person can do. They have income you don't know about. This is maybe the most concrete sign on the list. A man I know named Kevin works a normal job in IT, makes a decent salary, nothing that would make you look twice. But for 7 years, he has quietly been building a dividend portfolio on the side. He doesn't talk about it. It doesn't come up. But every single quarter, money lands in his account that he didn't have to work for that day. That's the architecture of quiet wealth. It's not just the job. It's the thing the job is funding. And the man who has both earned income plus ownership income is operating on a completely different plane than the man who only has one. The salary pays the bills. The portfolio builds the life. Ramit Sethi calls this building a rich life by design, not by default. The quietly wealthy aren't hoping wealth will happen. They have engineered it to happen, one boring decision at a time. They look slightly underdressed for how much they're worth. and they know it, and they don't care. There's a very specific kind of expensive signaling that happens in every social environment. The watch that says something, the shoes that say something, the car in the parking lot that says something. Quietly wealthy men mostly skip this. Not because they're against nice things, because they've fully internalized something that takes most people decades to learn. A stranger's impression of your financial status has zero impact on your actual financial status. Wearing a $400 watch when you could wear a $4,000 one isn't sacrifice. It's a decision that $3,600 does more work inside your brokerage account than on your wrist. And when that mental math becomes automatic, when you stop even having to think about it, that's when you know the mindset has fully landed. They've already thought through scenarios most people refuse to think about. What happens if I lose my job tomorrow? What happens if the market drops 40%? What happens if I get sick and can't work for 6 months? Most people avoid these questions because they're uncomfortable. The quietly wealthy have already run the numbers. They know exactly what they'd do, what accounts they'd draw from, how long they could sustain, what they'd cut first. The emergency isn't a surprise to them. It's a scenario they've already planned for, like, even if it never happens. That kind of preparation doesn't come from fear. It comes from taking your financial life seriously enough to stress test it. And the peace that follows, knowing you've already handled the worst version of things in your head, is something that money can't directly buy, but that building wealth absolutely creates. They stopped trying to win arguments about money a long time ago. Here's the reframe I promised you. Every time a quietly wealthy man doesn't buy the thing, doesn't take the lease, doesn't upgrade the phone, doesn't match the vacation his friends are taking, someone in his life has an opinion about it. You can afford it. You only live once. Don't be cheap. He hears all of it, and he smiles, and he moves on. Because he has already won the argument, not in the conversation, but in his account balance. And he knows something the other person doesn't yet know, that every dollar he doesn't spend performing wealth for an audience becomes a dollar that actually builds it. He's not being cheap. He's being precise. He's allocating resources toward things that compound and away from things that evaporate. The moment a man stops needing to win that argument out loud, stops needing the validation, stops needing to explain his choices, is the moment the real wealth building begins. Because the energy that was going into justifying decisions can now go entirely into making them. This is the sign that's hardest to fake and hardest to earn, because it requires not caring, and not caring genuinely about what people think of your spending. That takes time, experience, and a certain kind of maturity that nobody talks about in personal finance content. They have already automated the most important decision. Ask the average person how they save money, and they'll describe a process. They get paid, they spend what they need to spend, and if anything is left at the end of the month, maybe they move it to savings. Maybe. The quietly wealthy man inverted this years ago. The investment contribution leaves the account the same day the paycheck arrives, automatically, before he can see it, spend it, or make a different call. The saving is not a decision he makes every month. It was a decision he made once, in a browser window on a Tuesday afternoon, and it has been running on autopilot ever since. He doesn't need discipline every month because I only needed it once. And finally, they are playing a game with a different end goal. The quietly wealthy man is not chasing a lifestyle. He is chasing freedom, the ability to say no to a job or a client or a situation that doesn't serve him, without his bank account making the decision for him. The lifestyle might come along the way, but it's not the point. The point is options. The point is that money, accumulated quietly and deliberately, buys you the most valuable thing that exists, the ability to choose. And a man who can choose, who wakes up every morning with real options, looks different, moves different, is different. Here's what all 10 of these signs have in common. None of them are about deprivation. None of them are about living small or dreaming small or grinding yourself into the ground. Every single one of them is about a reorientation, from performing wealth to building it, from spending for today's audience to investing for tomorrow's options. Daniel, from my college days, he's not exceptional. He didn't come from money. He didn't have a trust fund or a lucky break or a viral moment. He just decided, earlier than most, that the game everyone around him was playing wasn't the game he wanted to win. And then he quietly, consistently, completely ignored the noise and built something real. That's available to you, right now. Not after the next raise, not after the next move. Now. The question is whether you're willing to start playing a game that nobody around you can see you winning. If someone in your life needs this, send it to them. And subscribe for more wealthy videos.